Now, we are fans of DVDs, they're great, but you need a foundation. And when you go to group classes, you don't necessarily always get that one-on-one. And I'm very fortunate, I have Zuzana here, and she's going to critique my stance, my position, and tell you what to do, what not to do in order to stay safe, and to also make these poses challenging.
So let's start with the standing poses. Let's start with the Warrior 2, which is a very common pose. So you want to step your right leg back and then turn your toes out on almost 90 degrees. Oh, you're going to do this.
I'll do it.
Alright. So now what you want to do, you want to turn your torso facing sideways and your hips as well. So everything is open up to the side. And what really helps here is, you know, the instruction is like, oh, reach your arms out, bend your knee, and that's it, right? Now, it's very helpful to just bring your hands onto your hips to make sure that when you're bending, that the hips stay in the same level, because you don't want to bend the knee and then the right hip is higher than the left. That totally defeats the purpose. So bring your hands into your hips, it's a big help. And then as you lengthen your spine, you bend your knee, but keeping the hips level here. Good. So you want to eliminate that right hip going higher than the left. Maybe I'll do the side view here. So we don't want this, we want the hips level. Now the other thing is the right knee. The right knee is a problem usually because a lot of people have flat feet, and so what happens, like the arch in your foot, just your foot kind of rolls in, and that makes the knee to go in. And that's a good recipe for a disaster when you do that over and over. So you want to make sure that your arch is lifted. So to achieve that, you can lift all 5 toes up, and then you can feel that when you lift your toes up, the arch is lifting as well. And then bring the toes down, but keep the arch lifting. And then send the knee towards the pinky side of your foot. So you don't want the knee to collapse inside, you want the knee towards the pinky side. There you go. And then you just reach your arms out, draw your shoulders down away from your ears, and then turn your head facing the left fingertips. Beautiful. So yeah, here we are, the right leg is straight, and now again, if you want to make it harder and you're flexible enough, you can just walk the back foot back and go a little deeper. But again, you want to make sure that the knee is working, your arch is working, and your hips are level. The other thing is, sorry Susan, you're going to stand here for a while, is sometimes we stick the bum out this way. You don't want to do that. You want to kind of draw the tailbone under and draw your lower belly in. So we don't want to do the stripper thing. There you go. Good. Beautiful pose.
Also, one more thing, I think when I first started, I was too far forward.
Right.
So shoulders should be over my hips, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So sometimes when you're starting to do yoga, you can come out of it. It's helpful to do it in front of the mirror. Like just so you can see the alignment is right, and then you know how it feels. So then when you do it without the mirror, you know you're doing the right thing.
So a mirror is basically an equipment, a tool to help you monitor your alignment. It's important.
Right. You don't want to do the whole practice with a mirror as you go along, but at the beginning, it's very helpful to know that. Okay. How about we do a simple forward bend? There's a lot of mistakes people do. So the problem is with the forward bend that you say, okay, inhale, reach your arms up, people reach, and then exhale, fold forward. And now what people do, they just go, keep your legs straight and go all the way down, and because they don't have the flexibility of their hamstrings, they're really round the back, and it eventually can give you a little lower back problems and slip disc and stuff like that. So it's not a contest. It doesn't mean that you have to reach, you have to touch the floor with straight legs. Doesn't matter. Bend your knees. Always bend your knees until your belly is resting onto your thighs. And then slowly from there, bend as much as you need to. You can slowly try to strengthen your legs. Straighten your legs. It's not a contest. You don't have to do it that way. If you don't have the flexibility, you're setting yourself up for an injury. Good. So from here, another thing is, people usually let go and they just drop the shoulders down and they're just kind of hanging there like a rag doll, which is not the point. The whole pose is about, you catch your big toes with first 2 fingers, right? And then you lengthen your spine forward. Keep your knees bent if that's okay. If you're flexible enough, you can keep it straight, that's fine. And then you put yourself down, elbows out to the side. Now, you want to make sure the shoulders don't go towards your ears, but go away from your ears. So you're still engaging the, what would that be, these guys, lats?
Yes.
To pull the shoulders away from your ears. You want to always have space in your neck. Good. And then again, you want to draw your front ribs in. Good, perfect. And now here you can always play with the weight in your feet. So your weight should be distributed evenly on your feet. So it's not in your heels, it's not in your toes. It's kind of evenly. So you wanna wiggle a little bit from side to side, front to back, and find the sweet spot that's the center. There you go, and then you just breathe into it and enjoy the stretch. Beautiful.
That is so helpful. There you go. I find the challenge level jumps.
Yeah,
Significantly.
it's all about being mindful. You have to know exactly what you're doing. You don't want to do it mindlessly and just do it because the motion is the motion.
Yeah, you want to make it quality over quantity, right?
Make it count.
Yeah. Warrior 3.
Oh, the Warrior 3, very challenging. It's
Yes.
all kind of looks easy, and we all did it in gymnastics and this when kids were playing, but it's not that simple to do it right. All right, so what we want to do, you want to bring your hands onto your hips, really bring your feet together and feel your feet grounding into the floor. Good. And now you want to just lift your right foot like half an inch, and then you want to send it back. Then you're leaning forward with a flat back. Now it's very important that you don't open the hip out to the right. That's the biggest mistake people do. They open up and then they just wiggle there and it looks all kind of wobbly and not good, right? So you want to make sure that you're internally rotating your right thigh. So the inner thigh is going, there. And you want to make sure again, so the hands on your hips help because you can see if you have your hips in the same level. If your right hip is up, you're going to feel it when you have the hands on your hips. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hamstring, and you always want to, so you don't want to twist it out. You want to kind of rotate the right thigh in, and then so yeah. So from there, then you can just do whatever arm variation you want. The arms at your side is the easiest. The arms out is a little bit harder, and arms forward is the real deal. So slowly, keep the hip down. Your hip is up again. That's a little better. There you go, yeah. So toes pointing down, always.
All right, so the next one was
The next one.
downward dog.
Downward dog, yeah. So we do downward dog a gazillion times in a yoga practice.
Yes.
So let's try to get it right. So let's come onto hands and knees. So it all starts with your hands. So the way you place your hands, it really matters. So you want to spread your fingers and press your hands shoulder width apart. Now you want to make sure that the wrists are parallel to the front of your mat. So it's not turned out, it's not turned in. It should be parallel. Good. From here, let's come on to all four. And you want to make sure that you're pressing the whole hand into the floor. So usually when we do downward dog, everything kind of rolls out and you put more weight onto the outside of your hands. Not so good. So you want to make sure that the thumb and index finger knuckle is pressing firmly into the floor. Good. From there, you curl your toes under, press into your hands, and you lift your hips and shift back and up. Now here again, if your hamstrings are tight, bend your knees. There's nothing wrong with bending your knees. This pose is all about a straight and long spine. So if you're doing a downward dog and you're round or whatever, you're not doing it right. You want to make sure that the spine is stretching and it's long and straight. Very good. So it's the hands. Now with the feet, there's another problem with the feet. Again, because people's arches are flat, a lot of people that everything collapses in. So you want to make sure that the center of your heel is pressing into the floor and you're not rotating your feet inwards. There you go. Very good. Very good. So yeah, so the legs are straight and you're trying to set your sitting bones back and up, and it's all about the length. It's all about the length. Very good. The other thing is the shoulders here. The shoulders are the big thing. So, yeah. You want to make sure that you're not
Rolling in?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This-
rolling in, which is our bodies compensate, and that's what you not normally do. So you have to counter that by focusing on pressing out. So it was elbows pressing in.
Right. So it's kind of because the forearms are rolling in, but the upper arms are rolling out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a funny balance there. It's sometimes not. It's a tricky one.
So instead of this, we want this, right? So
Yeah. So we want the forearms in, but the upper arms no. Yeah. In and yeah out.
Okay.
So and then yeah. So you want to kind of not this, but you want to round it in. And you want to really stretch, like you want to widen across here. So this should be wide. And then again, the shoulder blades down your back. So we don't want the shoulders up in your ears. There you go, looking good. So yeah, so when you get tired, you always can come down to your knees, but the main thing is keep the spine safe.
Woo! That's amazing. Just a word, if you're doing yoga classes and you find them somewhat easy, you're not targeting correctly. Take it from someone who has experience in that. There is something to be said for having someone who's an expert in the field and knows what they're doing and has practiced it for some time to be watching over you. Invest in the foundation of building all these poses because they are super challenging and they will reap rewards. Yeah, your body will reap rewards. So amazing. So that's it for now.